Yeah, Bangkok as a city is, well, there's always something about cities which, places where all the tourists go. Like this morning, I went to the Victory Monument, and that's where tourists go to like see a Victory Monument or to see the palace, the Grand Palace that is, all the different Buddhist temples, etc. here. But it's what really makes a city is not those places, right? The places where the tourists never go, because I guess they just don't have the time or they think that the city is just those sites. I mean, Bangkok is full because the place is pretty flat. It rains a lot here. The sea is not far from here, so the city is there's lots of canals, lots of rivers in the city, and this is just one of a myriad of canals of rivers, and lots of people live next to these kinds of canals. Now, sure, the water is not, I would say, the cleanest per se, but because the color does not mean it's not. It's like toxic or anything like that, right? But sure, don't drink it. Okay, nobody will drink this anyhow. But that you can't do in any major city in the world, that is, except maybe in Geneva or someplace like that, right? But so yes, this is a little bit showing you a little bit more of what real life is, kind of. Okay, just people in houses next to the side of a canal, people busy with their normal kind of daily things, right? Not a huge Victory Monument, and actually it's very close to the airport rail link. Is just, I think you can see it now, just up there. There's the air link. It's about two stops from here, so not very far from here. And so, or you can take that train there. Actually, only let me just go there again. The train from the airport from Suvarnabhumi just arrived. So Suvarnabhumi is in that direction, and the train just arrived, and so it will go in that direction. So in the westerly direction towards the city center. So you can take it from here to the city center to Payatai is 30 baht, which is a lot less and a lot faster than a taxi or a motorbike taxi, which is cheaper than a normal taxi, faster than a normal taxi, less safe than a normal taxi. But the best bet, trust me, the train over there is a lot faster. Okay, so you get a glimpse of what I would say real life in Myanmar, here in now I even say Yangon, here in Bangkok is, right? So motorbikes around, this is kind of normal for this part of the world. Lots of motorbikes, people getting around because of traffic jams and stuff like that. That's the widest thing to have. And it's hot, so you don't want to really walk a lot. People here don't really walk a lot. So the conclusion to Exodus chapter 3, this is what I want to do here now. What is this chapter about? Now, I addressed a number of questions already in the introduction part, during the teaching part. So I think you can listen to all the other videos and you'll most likely catch a glimpse of what is happening ultimately in this chapter. This is just now a way of trying to condense everything a little bit into a couple of minutes. Well, normally not a couple of minutes. Normally it ends up around 10 minutes, sometimes even longer, depending on the chapter and how, how things go. But yeah, there are actually quite a number of very important themes in this chapter. The first and foremost theme, most important thing, is understandably the God giving his name. Okay, I am, in verse 15. So that is the central point of this chapter. It's a central point of this book, I would say, even more so, most likely, than the giving of the Ten Commandments, which was important. But the character of God, so his name, ultimately is. The laws will flow out of his name, out of his character, understandably. Right? So that is why I would call and think of this as the pivotal moment in the book. Moses used this name of God that he got here retroactively. In other words, he used it before, like even from the beginning of creation, chapter 2, with the Lord God, right? He used that name already there, although Adam did not know that name and God did not give that name. Even after, like, Jacob asked him for a name, God did not give him the name. It's only here now, the first time, that God gives that name. Okay, and I explained in the teaching part, the reason for this is their mentality, their way of thinking about names. Right? We don't think of names that way. Well, in general, we don't. Right? I need to put a caveat there. Right? In general, we don't, but we kind of these days in lots of churches do think like that. Okay, so how people abuse the different names of God, like Jehovah, Jireh, Jehovah, Sabaoth, I don't even know the Russian version. different names of God. So because in their thought pattern, it means that when you know the name of the God, then you can control what needs to be done. Okay, that is kind of how it's always been and all throughout history. People trying to know the names of their gods so that they can ultimately control the name. So you find gods have names. They all have names all over time, and when they speak to the specific god, they use the specific name for that specific god. Okay, so unluckily that's now used in Christianity as well, where people, when I pray, I don't pray anymore of Father in heaven. Now I need to, like, if I want this, then I need to use that name of God. If I need this, then I need to use this name of God, etc., etc. So that, in actual fact, this is about manipulating God, which is evil beyond comprehension. And I said in the teaching part as well, introduction as well. So stop doing that. You are making a joke of God, and what you do is evil. Stop doing it. So for that reason, God did not give His name from the beginning. The people had to be prepared first for more than 2,000 years to get to that stage where they can get that name of God, so that they ultimately then can use it correctly. And remember, as I said in the teaching part as well, soon after this, God is going to give the 10 Commandments. And the third one is, don't abuse the name of God, right? So it's a commandment.